It's your boy Don Figure, stay the game, you know what I'm saying? Grown folks lounge, we in the building, y'all. Legendary EMAN in the house, Man Lab Studios. Boogie that Bronx, what we do, y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's your boy Don Figure. Shout out to my girl, the original TERRA Mama, in the place to be. Not in the front quarter, man, you know what I'm saying? She in the house right now. We gonna kick it with her a little bit, man. You know, she gonna talk about her new album she's been working on. You know what I'm saying? Got the single out right now, Razor Blades. And we gonna also get into some other things. TERRA Mama, you know, she's been doing her thing, man. She's been around for a minute, man. So let's get it started here. And just, who's TERRA Mama, man? What's going on, TERRA?
TERRA Mama is the princess of funk. And I'm here to put my foot into whoever is devoid of funk. You dig?
That's what it is. And you know, I've had a chance to sit down and listen to the music, man. It's totally awesome, man. I've seen you guys perform a couple of times, man, and I really like how y'all getting it down. I mean, it's the funk, man. You know, for all those that grew up on the funk, the real funk, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. It's real. And so, tell me a little bit about the album and, you know, what inspired you to do this album.
I've always been a funkateer, and I've always been inspired by my people, George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, Cameo, Charlie Singleton, Greg Daffy Fitz, who's in my band, Shaka Khan, the Brides of Funkenstein, Paulette, Linda Scheider, Gary Scheider. They laid the foundation of what funk is. James Brown, of course, the godfather of funk. I can't leave him out. So, like I said, I was always a funkateer, but at the same time, I wanted to contribute something as an artist to the funk. So, me and my partner, Indigo Blue, you know, we started writing. I was singing on my own, and we came up with this album called Fried Ice Cream. It took us 8 years to do everything. Yeah, 8 years, but, you know, like wine, fine wine has to age, and that's basically what the funk does. You know, it just never dies, it just multiplies, you know, for shizzle. So, you know, we wanted to give the best in every track, musically take you on a musical journey, and I hope we did that, you know.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, again, you know, listening to the tracks, man, like, it just, I love that funk injection, you know what I'm saying? And I can hear the live, you know, musicians in it, and that's what I love. And I feel the music is missing a lot of that. Although there's a lot of artists that are doing it, unfortunately, they don't get the publicity and all the things, the bells and the whistles. But that's okay, you know, if you're really a true musician, you're doing it for that reason as well as to get the paycheck. You're gonna grind it out, and people will know who you are, because the loyal funk fans are gonna always gravitate to funk. So now you're doing the album, and 8 years, that's a long time. Tell us a little bit about the single Razor Blades that you're pushing right now.
Razor Blades is basically a song about betrayal, and of all levels. And I wanted to touch on the sadness that people feel when they're hurt, and it can go into sometimes suicide. You know, we've had a lot of our members, a lot of actors, a lot of, you know, people that work every day have been depressed, and some have actually taken their lives. So I wanted to touch on how, you know, you get depressed, but you always have to give everything to the Creator, you know, and there are people out there that do care, even though you may not know everyone's praying for you, you know, we're there for you, even though you may not see us, but, you know, it's not the solution to take your life, because you always affect someone else by doing it, even if you don't think that you are, but you are.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. You know, there's a how can I say, a human side that has been taken away for some reason in all things. You know, that human side, I mean, is that side that is humane, and it's helps you to make the positive decisions to not be evil and act out violence and do evil things. And all things right now I see is just promote, you know, people promote violence, they promote drug use, they promote prostitution, they promote all kinds of things. And you know, it's so easy for people to fall in when you're fascinated, you know, by what you're seeing and hearing. So, and I think music plays an important part in everything, because even as babies, I know I took my first steps off of music, just on the vibrations. Not because I was too young to understand what the music was, right. But it was something about the vibrations that made me want to move. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I believe our music is spiritual in whatever form you're doing it in, except Satan music. But you know, and I believe that it could drive you. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that you're doing what you're doing. You're doing it with the live band, and it's a driving force. And when you see that live performance, you know, the band, everybody's hitting, you're singing, you're doing your thing. For me, that's what's exhilarating, you know, about music. And I feel like we're missing a lot of that. So I'm glad to see you doing your thing, and I'm glad to see you doing it that way. Name some of the songs that are on the album.
We have UFO Theme, which is our anthem. Second one that's playing now, our single Razor Blades. Then we have MOMMA, Fried Ice Cream, Change, Sunshine, Up in Here, Sweet Blessings Remix, which is featuring Gary Scheider, the duet that I did with Gary Scheider. Also, Insecurity, VIRL, among others.
So this is the single playing right now, Razor Blades. Turn it up a little bit, let everybody hear a little bit of it. Razor Blades, that's the single. Why don't you tell them what's Razor Blades about?
You know, Razor Blades, like I said, it's you know, it's a song about betrayal. It's a song about heartache, but how you can get out of it. You know, and you know, I wrote the treatment. I wrote 2 different treatments, but one of the treatments that I wrote was about, like I said, suicide and what drove different people. It could be a guy getting abused by his girl. You know, a lot of people don't want to touch on that, but guys get abused by women just like women get abused by men. Another scenario of a guy, a goth kid that's getting bullied in school because he looks different. A woman, an older woman in a nursing home that's getting abused. Her kids don't want to take care of her. So there's different scenarios that can make you feel like you just don't want to live here on this planet anymore. You know, that's basically what the song is about.
That's awesome, man. And again, like in the music today, I just see so much lack of things that are trying to educate and help youth lead themselves in a different direction. We're going to take a break for a minute, and then we're going to come back with TERRA Mama and give you a little bit more. Yeah, so we back, you know what I'm saying? TERRA Mama, the place to be. Not at Funk Water. You just heard the single Razor Blades. So we're gonna get into a little bit more now. I understand also that you got a little modeling in your life, man. You doing your thing out there in Paris for a minute. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that side of TERRA Mama? Just a little bit.
I lived in Paris for over 5 years. You know, I did all the runway shows, TERRA, all the major designers. I also did print, you know. I also did a couple of album covers, music videos that you've seen me in, you know. One of them was like Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, what album cover was that?
Smooth Operator.
That's right, that's right. That's right.
But I always was into music. In fact, I was on a label, Polygram Barclay, out in Paris. And I had a single out called I'll Be There For You. Yeah.
So, when you was in Paris, like, what was it like for you to be in that scene, that fashion scene, you know, this, because I understand fashion to me, it just looks so complicated. Everything's got to be so perfect, and it's like people all over the place, snapping fingers, and, you know, it just seemed like you got to be, you know, if it ain't perfect, it ain't happening. So, what was it like for you being there in Paris, being in the fashion scene at the time, and who were some of the people that you walked the runway with?
Paris was a wonderful place to live. Everything around Paris inspired me to do art, because like every 3 blocks is a museum. You know, just being in Paris made me want to take out my pad and write. And they're very loving towards artists. You know what I mean? They're very loving towards artists, and I learned a lot about the surrealist movement, even paintings, painters, sculptors. But it was an inspiration to me, just in my surroundings as a songwriter. You know, living there. It was great living there. The fashion was off the chain. The only thing is that Parisians are very thin, so as a woman of color, we basically didn't eat. We would take a cracker and put it in half, and literally, I remember being at a shoot and saying, okay, I'm going to eat half of this cracker now and half of it tonight. That's how it was. Our hips had to be a certain way, and if we had some of that, we weren't eating, because they measured those hips and they had to be 34.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. It wasn't the size 0, but I was down to a size 3-4.
Wow.
And I'm not a 3-4 now.
Right.
That's interesting because, again, like the fashion scene is just so fast paced. Click. Did you ever experience, how can I say, pressure of dealing with the light skin, dark skin syndrome in the fashion?
Well, I didn't deal with the light skin, dark skin. It was basically being of color, period. And it's more so, and people don't want to touch on it, but I'm not modeling anymore, so I don't care. They still will say, we only want white models, we don't want black. And they're very blatant about it. And they get away with it because they feel that they're the designer, but there's still racism. You know, just like you had one, I'm not going to mention names, someone that was a big editor that made a big thing over having a big derriere. Black women and African women, we've always had that naturally without surgery. So, you know, it's a very, very racist industry, very racist, and it's just sad that there's not a lot of us that come and speak about it. Some of them, but everyone's afraid to say something, you know, and it's really sad because there's so many beautiful, I mean gorgeous women of color here in America and in Europe that are trying to make it that you'll never see because they don't want to have beautiful women to be shown. They'd rather have someone that's not really attractive in the magazines than to have somebody, trust me, they are gorgeous models. You know, I know, and I'm not going to say all the publications are like that, but a lot of them are. You know, just go on a newsstand.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's right in the front of our face. You can see it, it's there. I mean, and it's sad. And I don't really know, like, what do you do to gain the respect in the industry you know, what more can you do except what you're doing? You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, that's the way it is. But now you've done your Paris thing, you've done your modeling thing, you did the videos. When did you feel you wanted to do the funk thing? Was it before even the modeling and you just didn't do it yet? Or is it like you had the epiphany one day? Like, you know, when did you make the transition in your mind that I'm going to do this funk thing?
Funk is in my DNA, first of all. I've always been a funkateer since I was little. It was just a matter of when. You know, so when I started really getting heavy into music in Paris, and I came out with my single, the B-side of it was Funkin' for Jamaica, and I did like a cover on there. And, you know, we fought, the label and me fought because they wanted me to be a house artist, and I said, I'm a house head, but I'm a funkateer first. And I was insistent on that, you know, and then from there I said, you know what, once we dissolved our relationship, I started writing for other artists, and that's when I met my partner, Indigo Blue, and then we started brainstorming on doing 2020 funk, future funk. You know what I mean? We're influenced by, of course, I say George Clinton because you know, we're children of the people, but our interpretation of it, you know, our interpretation. Because the funk is for everybody, the funk is for free.
That's right. That's crazy because, and are we still on? That's what hip hop is. Hip hop is our interpretation of what we saw the Isley Brothers and the Temptations and the Main Ingredient doing. You know, we couldn't really sing like them, but we danced to their music, we listened to their music, so hip hop became a thing of fashion. You know, cats used to wear the leather, the tight leather with the feathers and the raccoons, and used to have the Weibo, body Weibo, with the Weibo boots, and you know, I mean, the safety pins going down the side, but it was like you dressed the part, you know what I mean? You know, Adidas, Pumas, Pro-Ceds, and Lees. That was our fashion, but I guess people didn't know it was a fashion statement, so they didn't focus on the fashion outside of us doing it. But I see, you know, how the fashion industry even benefited from it, because I've seen spreads of people modeling a shirt, but they got Pumas on. You know, people modeling some pants, but they got Pumas on or Adidas on. So it's kind of like still that small hip hop influence in it, and you see it, but people that don't know won't understand that. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take another break, and then when we come back, we're gonna have a little bit more of Terra Mama. Now the Funk Order, we're gonna talk a little bit more. Yeah. Place to be right now, your boy Don Figga. Grown Force 9 is what we do, y'all. Every day, EMAN. Terra Mama in the place, you know what I'm saying? Just heard a little bit of a song off the album called Crack Pipe. You know, I want you to tell them about Crack Pipe, but most people, when they hear the title, you already know what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? Tell them what it's really about.
No, I am not advocating crack and the use of crack. Let's get that straight. The song I wrote, Crack Pipe, is basically the ego and how, you know, how crackheads feed that for that drug. The ego is a drug to some people, and it's like crack for them. They get high off of it, and basically you keep doing that. Your ego is your crack pipe. You're always wanting more. You're always needing more. But in the end, you'll lose your friends. You'll sit alone at home and stink the pens. Basically, you're gonna sit in your own shit and stew, basically. You know what I mean? Because nobody's gonna want to be around you. So that's basically what the song is about. You know what I mean? Because you're deeper, you're getting out of control. So I know everybody can identify with somebody maybe in their family or someone they've met or someone in their crew that is so arrogant that you just want to be like, be gone, Felicia. You know what I mean? It's like ridiculous. You know, and just keeping that ego in check. You know, that's what the song is about. You know, that's what the song is about. Because we don't do drugs, we don't get high, we get high. If we do get high off of God. And we get high off of our natural energy, but not a chemical.
Definitely understood, you know what I'm saying? And I love the concept of the song because it makes sense, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's the egos drive people away from people, and you know, this industry is built on that. I mean, this shit is, you know, I mean, all industries are built on it, you know. And it's a sad thing too because it tears people apart, it tears groups of people apart, it tears countries apart. So, you know, it's always good to be reminded sometimes, you know, we gotta put our egos in check, you know what I'm saying, so that it can be acceptable and positive and it'll attract more positive things to your circle. And I truly believe in that. You know, the more positive energy you put out, the more positive you get back in. And even though demons are still going to try to kick your door in, but that positive energy is going to override that. It's going to be stronger, you know what I'm saying? Because good is going to always overcome evil.
That's right.
Always.
That's right.
You just got to know what good is. Because if you take one O out of good, it's God.
That's right.
So, yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about your community effort, because you are also a teacher, if I'm not mistaken. And that's awesome. So you have many jobs: producer, singer, teacher, and some other things, animation. You know, we don't got none of that right now, but when we get in part 2, we're going to tell you all about that stuff. You know what I mean? But tell me a little bit about your teaching and what you're doing with the kids.
Right now, I'm teaching at a place called East Family Academy in East New York. They're a group of kids between the grades of 6 to 8. I love them. I'm teaching vocals, technique, the clinical aspect of vocals. Some people think the diaphragm is here and it's not. Just basically how to sing properly, and I give them a firm foundation. What are the intercostal muscles, the muscles in between your ribs? How do you have to expand your rib cage when you sing? How to project, how to perform, how to hold a mic. And also, because a lot of the kids, and it's not their fault, they look at what's popular, what's on television, but I'm also opening up their mind to the singers before them. The singers before the Justin Timberlakes and the Usher and the Trey Songz and Fantasia. They're great artists, but I want to take them back to show them what inspired those singers to be who they are. So like I'll have videos on the Temptations and Gladys Knight, just to have just to show them what true vocalists are. Chaka Khan is my favorite singer in the world. Baby Jean Kennedy, Mother's Finest, which a lot of people don't know of in the States here. I wanted to show them how these artists write. I have like footage of Marvin Gaye when he was doing Got to Give It Up. And he was on a couch with his band, just working out their parts, singing, but singing his face off, laying flat, and they were just in awe. You know what I mean? Just how he was doing that. Earth, Wind and Fire, Philip Bailey, and Maurice White back in the day. This concert was like 1981, and how Philip was out up in his high register, and the guys were like, little boys are like, oh my goodness. I'm like, that is singing. Okay, so that's what I show them. How to sing properly, how to perform properly.
You know what, and that to me that's very important, man, because There's singing and there's signing. You can sing, but you can sign. You know what I'm saying? And you know, again, like there's a lot of great artists right now who are not being recognized for that because it's not promoted, it's not pushed. You know, so that's why we're here today doing Grown Folks Lounge, because we're taking charge of ourselves and our energy around us, and we're pushing our own stuff and we're doing our own thing. And those that know, you know your boy Don Figure, you see me in Texas, you see me in Cali, you see me in New Zealand, you see me in England, you know what I'm saying? You know Israel, Canada, shout out to Finesse, Toronto. Like, you know, we all over, man, you know what I'm saying? And we bring real music everywhere we go, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about, man. And I truly believe in the musicianship. And that's what I want to ask you, you know, how do you see the musicians of the game today, and do you feel that there's musicians are threatened because of the new industry?
That's a good question. It's not easy for musicians. So you have to find your own niche, you know, and just make it happen. Because, you know, I firmly believe that music is a gift from God, and we have a responsibility as artists, as singers, as writers, as musicians to spread the music and spread the funk to all the four corners of the earth. That's our duty, by any means necessary, as long as it's not hurting anybody and it's you're of light, you know, and you're giving of light. Then we have a responsibility to give it to the masses, and also we have a responsibility, what we're writing, what we're performing, what we're saying, our lyrics, because there's kids that are listening to us, and they're very, they're influenced a lot by what they see, you know, what they hear, you know, and they're like sponges, they're our angels. So we have a responsibility to really give positive messages to these kids, because they're our future, you know. But I do, coming back to that question, I do feel that, you know, musicians do have a hard time because of the music nowadays. But like I said, you have to make it happen. You know what I mean? You have to find your group and your people that are going to help you push that music out. You know, by any means necessary. And that's why I have to thank you for having me on the show, because you're a pioneer, you know, and you're putting, you know, you're bringing independent artists so that you can bring it to the masses and let the masses know about us. So I have to thank you for having me on the show as well.
And I definitely appreciate you coming down, you know, because, I mean, you guys are some of the hardest working people I know. And shout out to Dave Burnett, bass player, you know what I'm saying? He brought us together, and I just have so much respect for you guys, musicians, because it's an art and it's a craft, and when you do it well, it's because you put your passion and your time into it. I just feel like that stuff is being overlooked now. It's like, oh, who cares how long they've done that? You know, we're just gonna program this app, and you know, don't get me wrong, if you're doing your digital thing, that's fine. I got love for everybody. You do your thing. I know they say it's their time now. Okay, cool. It's whoever's time it is, they're doing their thing, that's fine. But at the same time, don't forget where it all comes from. And let's always celebrate and pay homage to the musicianship of it. Because without the instrument, nobody would have thought to make the digital sound.
That's right.
Always remember, the 2-inch came before the DAC.
Right.
The 8-track came before the CD. You know what I'm saying? Before even the cassette. You know what I mean? Well, no, not before the cassette, but anyway. So, you know, that's what it is, and I'm just glad to see you guys doing the thing. We're going to see a lot more of TERRA, man, because she's going to be doing a lot, man. And Urban World Daily, you know, we're working together with that right now, you know, to give you guys some great shows, live stream. So 2015, you're going to be seeing a lot of us, man. And support, man, you know what I'm saying? Support, you know, get the single. Tell them how can they get your single?
You can also reach Funkster Jones on Facebook. His Larry Funkster Jones and Bernard Stewart are on Facebook. You can go on our website, which is www.unitedfunkorder.com, or you can email Phoenix Productions, which is PHENIX03 gmail.com. Okay, you can reach Funkster Jones on Facebook or Bernard Stewart for the CD, and we'll be more than happy to, mail it out. I also want to thank my band members, Greg Daffy Fitz, former member of QUASAR. Without them, there'd be no me. He's our MD, songwriter. We wrote most of the album together. My partner, Indigo Blue. Without him, there's no me. Linda Scheider, Eva, Oral, Emori, Dave Burnett. Who else? Larry Marsden. Larry Marsden actually was one of the original guitar players with Eddie Hazel. He was down with Eddie Hazel. He was also in the group, one of the original band members of First Circle.
Right.
Yeah, that was him. Larry Marsden is my big bro, So we have a lot of, I have a lot of talented musicians, part of the United Funk Order movement, that I'm very thankful. And I also want to do a shout out to Funkster Jones, Phil Coley, Funk Uncut, and Bernard Stewart. Those are my boys.
And last but not least, I don't know why I didn't even mention it, I gotta say it right now. We need all of y'all to support making funk a Grammy category. Real quick before we close it out, you gotta tell them about that. I'm sorry, I should have had to tell them.
Me, Patty Walker, Larry Funkster Jones, and Phil Coley have a page on Facebook called Make Funk Inevitable, Make Funk a Grammy category, because it's very important. If polka has a category, why not the funk?
Right.
Why not the funk? Why not the funk? There's so many bands that are bringing the funk hard that people don't know about it, and they need to be recognized. So we started this movement, and we're going to be asking for bands to give us their submissions. Yeah.
Don't forget, y'all, vote funk in. We need funk to be a Grammy category. I'm gonna put all the information in the box, man, so y'all see the information. Holla at her, man. She got great music. Now the Funk Order got great music. Doing great things, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Don Figga stayed the game. Grown Folks Smiles, legendary E-Man. Shout out to the whole family. You know who you are, you know what I'm saying? This is what we do, y'all. Grown Folks, Terra, Don Figga. We out, y'all.